Welcome back to Financial Therapy. It's not just about the money. I'm personal financial planner, columnist, and financial therapist Rick Kahler. Research tells us that 90% of all financial decisions are made emotionally, not logically. For nearly 4 decades, I've been helping people make better money decisions. So what makes my financial worldview different from most financial experts? I blend the nuts and bolts of financial advice with the emotions that drive making them. Good money decisions are not just about the money. So let's get started with today's episode. So welcome back to another edition. Joetta has very kindly returned to give us a little bit more experience of what a hypnosis is. We were just discussing how rich this is and how we can get into our subconscious. In IFS, this would be talking to all of our protective parts, learning their stories, witnessing their stories, and then going to those exiles that they protect, witnessing their stories and learning how they came to be the way that they are, what their story is, and then having an opportunity to modify, to change, to learn new ways of being, new truths, new information, which usually at the conscious level, new information doesn't work.
So true.
So, yeah.
We had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah. Well, those were all the tools that didn't work we were talking about in the last episode. That I remember that's the Nazarene Project got started by a group of us that said, 1/3 of the time we come up with these wonderful financial plans that are exactly what the client asked for, and they don't work. They don't do them.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
So let's talk about this hypnosis. I mean, I think a lot of folks may have been left with this is really cool, but how is it? What's it like? How do you start? How do you experience that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there are multiple ways that you can start. Working with a practitioner obviously is going to get you into the deeper aspects of changing beliefs and habits and behaviors and changing the money story and integrating new habits and beliefs and behaviors. So working with a practitioner is one way. Self-hypnosis is another way. So there are different forms of self-hypnosis. One is listening to a recording, which we're going to offer folks here today, of what it can be like in terms of my kind of methodology around self-hypnosis. And then there's also a practice that a person can do in terms of taking themselves into a hypnotic state on their own, which I kind of train people, and we'll go through a little taste of that today. And then you give it suggestions. Right. So you can give it suggestions, you can give the mind suggestions. Let's say like trusting in your own ability to build and sustain wealth. And you can just say this to say this to yourself multiple times, preferably 20 to 27 times. And you do this, you set a timer, you take yourself into hypnosis, and then you tell yourself, I am trusting in my own ability to build and sustain wealth. And then you say that to yourself 20 to 27 times. And then you imagine what that looks like. I guarantee if you're doing that 10 minutes a day, something's going to change for you in terms of your own ability to build and sustain wealth, because you're telling your mind, this is what we're doing, and then exactly tying it to an image like we spoke about in the previous podcast, like being in the Bahamas. Well, what does wealth mean to me? It means I could spend 3 months in the Bahamas. Okay, So I'm going to tell myself I trust in my own ability to build and sustain wealth over and over and over again and create those neural pathways in the brain and in the mind. And then I'm going to tie it to an image. And I'm going to say, this is the image we're going for. And this is what it feels like. This is what the outcome feels like. So these are the various ways that people can use hypnosis to change their experience of money and wealth.
Yeah, that just kind of ties everything together, especially the somatic. So you have, here's what I'm going for, here are the words, and then the feeling as you're saying those words of what this is like.
Yes,
And
exactly.
the repetition makes a lot of sense. In IFS, we talk about when an exile is unburdened and being with that, getting the connection, the felt sense somatic connection with that exile once a day for 21 days is what I've been taught, or 30, somewhere in there to build that, which I think is very similar to like what you said. If you spend 10 minutes a day in that state, uh, I think some great things have to happen, right?
Definitely. Great things are going to happen. There's no doubt.
All right. Where do you want to lead us next?
Yes, I would like to offer a hypnotic experience so people could get a taste of what it's like. But also, this one is very effective at creating some real change right here, right now. And it's very effective for that because it is working with the future self. So in IFS, we have these different aspects of ourselves. Well, this is the 80-year-old future self. And so when we're working with that future self, we can gain insights and wisdom from it, but also see the impact of kind of our current financial behaviors on our future self. When we're more in touch with that, we're more likely to make improvements. So I would like to take people through. It's about 10 to 12 minutes of an experience. I want to make sure that people are not driving while listening to it.
Okay, so pull
Very
over
important.
or wait till you get home.
Exactly. Exactly. But yes, I'd love to take people through an experience and, then they can listen to this over and over again if they like to and do some help self-hypnosis just starting right here.
All right.
Are you ready to dive in?
I am ready to dive.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So yes, making sure that you're not driving. It's helpful to have ringers kind of turned off and on do not disturb so we can have a powerful experience here. And so I just invite everyone to start off by taking a nice deep breath while closing the eyes. Already beginning to relax both the mind and the body. That's right. And realizing that your eyes are wonderfully, deeply relaxed. So deeply relaxed. They just want to stay closed. And invite you to imagine a color that represents feeling safe. It might be a color you love or some other color, but you see that color forming at the top of the head. And beginning to see that colored light, a color that represents safety and security, entering through the top of the head. And it begins to relax the head, the mind, relaxes all the thoughts about money. And it just brings this deep sense of safety and relaxation, starting with the head and the mind, seeing that color, relaxing the forehead, where it smooths out any creases. Seeing that colored light relaxing the tiny muscles next to the eyes, relaxing the jaw, where it hangs loose and slack. Seeing that colored light relaxing the shoulders, all the way down the arms, out into the fingertips. Seeing that beautiful colored light that represents safety, relaxing the torso and the chest, where you can breathe even easier. That's right. And seeing that colored light relaxing the legs all the way out to the bottoms of the feet, where that color just kind of pours out the bottoms of the feet, almost like sand is pouring out the bottoms of the feet, releasing all tension in the body, releasing all stress, all worry. All of this is let go through the bottoms of the feet. And beginning to imagine a beautiful light of the same color right in front of the heart. It's the most beautiful ball of light you have ever seen. And by just even looking into this ball of light, you feel an even greater sense of safety, of security, that everything is working out and everything is taken care of. And now, when I count down from 3 to 1, you will see your elder self right before you. The elder self may be 80 or 85, somewhere in that range. And you will be able to get a clear as day sense of them, where you will be able to see every detail of this future self of yours. And as you allow this part of yourself to come forward, it will provide you with new insights today. It's like getting a glimpse into your future and what will make the most difference to you. Preparing, 3, preparing for positive surprises. 2, becoming willing to see what needs to be seen. 1, seeing there right before you, your future self. As you take this in, noticing their demeanor, their posture, their clothing, their facial expression, their wisdom lines in the face, this expression of you, but in the future. I want you to take a moment to look into the eyes of this future self and seeing the depth and the breadth of experience this self before you has had. Now we're going to have this future self of yours share some of its wisdom about your financial potential. We're going to provide this future self with a whiteboard or a chalkboard, dry erase board, as a tool for communicating with great clarity. We're going to ask this future self to put up on there the most difficult experience we may have had with money in our life, and to present it as a picture on this board where it's getting clearer and clearer and clearer. Like we're there with that experience, but only as an observer, observing the details of that experience, the most difficult experience we've had with money in our lifetime. And repeating in your mind to yourself after me, please heal my perspective on this past experience with money so I can see it with your wisdom and compassion. Allowing this to happen, and it may happen right now in this moment, or it may come later today, or even later this week. But trusting this new perspective is happening. Something we may never have noticed about this event that helps us to feel so much better about it, helping us to have the most positive perspective on it that is possible. You may even see this event enshrouded with an luminescent light over the circumstance, healing this past experience and bringing so much more wisdom to it. And then I want you to take an eraser and erase that image, coming back to a blank state. We're going to ask the future self another question, repeating after me to yourself. Show me the future outcomes of one money habit I need to improve. That's right. We're asking the future self to show you the future outcome of one money habit that you need to improve. It may show you in words on the chalkboard or dry erase board, or in images or like a short movie. You may even just get a sense of what that future outcome looks like. But regardless, it becomes evidently clear in the future outcome that this is a result of this current money habit that needs to change. Allow yourself to take this in psychologically all the way and feel the feelings that go along with whatever you are seeing, knowing this is the opportunity to change. And by seeing it clearly and the outcome of it clearly, you're far more motivated to create this change. Next, I will have you erase that board once more where it goes back to a clean slate. And I want you to ask the future self one last question. What habit can I replace the old one with? What money habit can I replace the old habit with that will get me far better results? And just allowing the wisdom from the future self to come through. One change that you can make starting today that will really make a difference to the future self. It might be having a spending plan. It might be a different investment strategy. It might be implementing micro savings. It might be working on reducing or eliminating some debt. It might be a way of earning more income. And know that this clarity is happening right here, right now. You see the habit, you see yourself in the habit. And it feels so good to be creating change in this way. And you see the smile on the face of your future self as you are making that change, the impact it is having on them. And they're so grateful for your willingness to make an improvement in this way. And just seeing how that impacts the future self, what it might create for them, whether it's more time and space for them, where they're able to relax because there's more money available to them. It might allow them to travel or have more comfort in their lifestyle, but seeing what that possibility and the outcome is for them and feeling what that's like. This brighter future. And taking that brighter future and making it into a small little picture and putting that small little picture into the ball of light in front of your heart now. That most beautiful ball of light you've ever seen is now holding this picture. The outcomes from the changes you are starting today, putting that ball of light into the heart now. That's right. Thanking the future self for all the wisdom it has conveyed here today. Taking it all back into the body, taking the future self back into the body, taking the ball of light into the body, where this will be integrated and carry out the habit that will make the most difference to your future self. And as I begin to count you back up, you will bring all of this with you. All of the wisdom, all of the new behavior will be integrated within you. Now infuse with the behaviors to increase financial abundance into your future. 0, closing the door to the subconscious mind now, locking in all the goodness here for you to remember clearly and carry out easily and effortlessly. 1, feeling inspired and motivated. 2, feeling excited for all the upcoming changes you can make with money. 3, feeling ready to make those changes. 4, feeling absolutely great. 5, opening your eyes, coming all the way back, and welcome back.
Hi.
Yes. How was that for you?
That was it was interesting. I mean, very similar from an IFS standpoint of going in. What a couple of things grabbed me, and one was the future self, and I had never connected this before to the story of Scrooge
Mm,
and the ghost of Christmas Future.
yes.
And that really adds a dimension.
Mm,
Now, in that story, the future self wasn't, the image wasn't a positive one,
hmm
but it was the motivator of holding that dissonance of going, oh my God, and creating, here's what I want to create. I'm also struck by the wisdom of the future self, which falls right in line with self energy, that we
Yeah,
all have that energy, that wisdom of knowing what needs to be done.
exactly.
Now,
And this
for
is
me, when
exactly what I'm talking about with that story and how the subconscious mind works in symbols and stories, because it gave you the ghost of the future self from Scrooge. Like, it gave that to you. That's what arose,
right,
and then you're able to secure it more in the subconscious mind because it's connected to a story now.
I found some humor in imagining my 80-year-old self because that's not too far away. Like,
That's
oh,
awesome.
I think he looks kind of like I do right now.
I love it.
um, and for for me, what came up with in imagining things, I'm so bifurcated and a lot of different things I own, businesses I own, um, that it was, what would it feel like to bring all of that together? I think
Mm,
I haven't been able to answer the question of, well, what do I spend? Because I have many different entities spending money. And um, so it was this image of, actually what I put into the my ball of light was a computer screen dashboard.
I love it.
Which, oh, this is where everything is. This is where
Yeah.
all of the incomes are coming from, and this is what I'm actually spending.
Yes, that's
I,
awesome.
I
Because
and
it works
I mean,
in this, like, imagery, right? And so that imagery, like, helps you integrate it and digest it on a non-intellectual level.
yeah. So I'm seeing, even though that's a lot of dollars and cents, that felt sense of, oh,
Mm,
that's that's what I'm spending.
mm,
Um, or that's the cost of that. And that's the potential income that is there. Um, and when I went back in time, I went to a time that I struggled. It was a time when the B-52s left Ellsworth Air Force Base, and the B-1s, it took them 2 or 3 years to bring in the B-1s, which meant we had 25% vacancy rates. And I didn't look at my balance sheet because of being frozen. And if I'm frozen, this isn't good because I've got to be working my butt off just to keep my head above water.
Mm.
And sitting with that fear of looking, which I could see, into today. I don't know that there's so much fear, but there's a parallel. So, fascinating.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
So, the good thing is that those of us or those that are listening today can go back and play that
Definitely.
again. And what would you suggest someone to do with this information going forward?
Yes. I would say I would listen to it regularly. So with this particular one, you could work with just one habit you want to change, and you continue to do this. You could do this daily. So if you identify a specific habit, you can do this daily and reinforce it. In doing it in this time frame, like we talked about, 20, 27 days, 21 days is a perfect number because that's how we integrate a habit. Right? And so we're working on training the mind to do this. We can also write notes after doing this because sometimes when we're in a hypnotic state, we kind of come out a little dreamy, like what just happened there? But if we write notes right afterwards, it's basically telling us exactly what to do. Right? And so we write notes and like, this is what we're working on. This is what we're going to do. But if we have like notes about it, that's going to help ground it even more. And then just work on the habit itself. But what's cool about hypnosis, it's very organic. At some point, we just naturally do it, like brushing our teeth. That's the goal. That's how I like to do it. I just want it to be like brushing my teeth. I just do it automatically.
Joetta, thank you so much for spending this time with us. Just hugely insightful, and I'm pretty positive my listeners are going to find a lot of value out of this.
Amazing.
So
I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
And one more time, your website?
Yes, priestessoffinance.com. Tons of blogs and I have hypnosis on there for purchase and for free. So there's lots of amazing content on there.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rick.
Thanks for joining me, Rick Kahler, for another episode of Financial Therapy. It's not just about the money. This is where I combine the nuts and bolts of financial advice with the emotions that drive making them. Remember, every financial behavior, whether it appears illogical to you or others, makes perfect sense when we understand the underlying beliefs, feelings, and thoughts. Sign up for my weekly blog at financialawakenings.com. I hope you'll join me again for our next episode.